Kia ora, good evening. The new school year is almost underway for the city's students, with the majority of Southern Institute of Technology courses beginning next month. Sharon Rees caught up with SIT's Deputy CEO to find out how student enrolments are looking for 2015.
SIT hosted the first of its open nights on Monday, hoping to attract some fresh faces to its courses just weeks before they kick off for the year.
As compared to 2014, we are more or less on par. We've received about 4,100 enrolments this year. Compared to the same time last year, we received about 3,900 applications. Yep.
Was it a successful open day?
The open day as compared to the same time last year was not as successful. We only had 44 serious inquiries that evening. Same time last year, we had about 60 odd. One of the things that we believe is that we've actually received more applications, so students most probably have decided or made up their minds earlier on. We do have another open night on the 3rd of February, so hopefully that would be a bigger one.
Have enrolments increased over the last few years?
We have noticed an increase in trades applications and numbers. There has been a drop in some of the other areas, but on the whole, we are still on track. And in terms of growth, the main growth that we've had is through international students.
And will there be any new courses this year?
Yep, we've got the Bachelor in Professional Communications. We've received over 20 applications for that, so that's a very strong program that's just started. And the other one is the Postgraduate Diploma in Information Technology. That's also going to be starting this year, and it's looking positive. We've also got quite a number of new graduate diploma programs that are basically the final year of degree programs for students who have done diplomas in the past.
But despite an increase in student enrolments and interest for new courses, some of SIT's longer-running courses seem to be dropping in numbers.
At SIT, we always work towards ensuring that we get the numbers for the programs. We don't just discontinue a program because there's been a lot of investment made into them. If I can use an example, at the moment we've got low application numbers in journalism, for example. So we're working with the tutors in the journalism area and the industry to see, right, what else can we do to actually promote this program to New Zealand to attract the numbers. Yeah.
Numbers have been dropping for a little while, but this year, just not many applications, and so we're hoping that we'll get a few more before the course starts.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know. It could be anything, a range of things. The marketing of the course, whether people are deciding to do something else. A lot of the applicants or potential applicants I've spoken to have said that it's a toss-up between journalism or going to university and maybe doing a degree before they do the journalism course. It's just getting the course out there so people know that it's not just about working in a newsroom, that there's a whole lot of transferable skills like shorthand and news writing and other things that they can pick up on the course. So I think telling people that if they're not necessarily wanting to work in a newsroom, that they don't have to, that it's one of those courses where those transferable skills go across a range of industries.
But while SIT works harder to pick up numbers in certain areas, the numbers for one of its main revenue streams is increasing in line with national figures. A report released by Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment shows international student numbers increased by 12% last year, which saw an $83 million boost in tuition fee income. International student levels are the highest they've been for the country in 4 years, and it's no different for SIT, with international student rates increasing by 18% last year.
In a capped environment, we need to find different revenue streams. So we've identified the international market as a revenue stream that we would like to tap into. So the international students are very important for SIT to ensure that our zero fee scheme continues for Southlanders and New Zealanders.
International student numbers are currently sitting at 11% of SIT's overall student population, but the Institute says they plan to bring that number up to 15%. Sharon Rees, South Today News.
Tourist drivers who have had their rental vehicle contracts cancelled are set to be backlisted in a Queenstown trial. A shared information network that alerts rental companies to problem and dangerous drivers is hoped to prevent them getting back behind the wheel. It's hoped the regional blacklist will stop high-risk drivers hiring another vehicle in the event of their rental contract being cancelled. The driver information sharing is one of the initiatives that came out of the Safer Journeys signature projects led by the New Zealand Transport Agency last year. It will target drivers who do not meet the criteria to be charged by police but are recommended by police to have their rental agreement cancelled. The Rental Vehicle Association is set to engage with all rental companies in the resort town over the coming months, and depending on results, the initiative could be rolled out nationally. The fate of the historic and iconic Riverton Soundshell is unknown after the former group of volunteers who maintained the venue handed it back to the Southland District Council. In its heyday, the Riverton Soundshell was a popular venue for not only bands but also community events, and is one of only 2 soundshells in the South Island. For close to 20 years it's been threatened with demolition, and with around $100,000 worth of repairs needed, its fate may be sealed. The former Taramia-based Soundshell Trust, which was set up to take ownership of the building and lease the land, has been wound up due to lack of support. SDC has accepted ownership of the building but are non-committal about its future. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, Invercargill filmmakers have done it again, and Southland kids keeping busy over the school holidays. Welcome back. One Southland District Council staff member ended 2014 on a high after being nationally recognised for her work with youth. Policy analyst Henrietta McNeil is one of just 11 semi-finalists for the Auckland University Young New Zealander of the Year title in 2015. The award aims to recognise the work of a young Kiwi between 15 and 30 each year. Fellow nominees include internationally recognised Kiwi musician Lord. 2 short films from Invercargill have been selected as finalists in one of the country's largest film festivals. Filmmakers Emma Schranz and James Wilkinson were yesterday named as finalists in the National Tropfest Film Competition. We caught up with one of the filmmakers to talk about his film, Life Through a Wire.
Yeah, it's just a little animation it's kind of like a little romantic film about communication. It's the history of communication over the last 150 years and into the future, and about how the increase in technology has allowed us to communicate with each other as humans. Like, we've never been able to communicate as far apart as we can now, but at the same time we're kind of more disconnected socially. So it's sort of addressing that topic but in a fun way.
So you hope to get some kind of message out to the audience then?
Maybe just to reflect on, I think it's important that how fast technology is increasing at the moment, about how as a society how we address those issues.
Did the selection for Tropfest come as a surprise?
Yeah, it did. It's a relatively new festival, but it's quite a large festival. It's been going in Australia for quite some time, and the selection panel is some industry professionals, so it's kind of a big thing to get in, I suppose. So yeah, I was quite shocked. Yeah.
What happens from here in regards to Tropfest?
So the festival is going to be on the 14th of February, so it's Valentine's, so hence trying to do something a bit romantic. And so I'm going to fly up there, and basically there's 2 days where you do a meet and greet, and there's they put on like talks and that, and you get to meet all the other contestants, and then you watch all the films, and then I think they announce the winners of the prizes, and the grand prize is $10,000 and a trip to LA to meet with some executive movie people over there, so that would be pretty massive for a career, I suppose, but yeah, we'll see.
A new report released by Statistics New Zealand shows the majority of adults with disabilities who are currently not working would like to be. The report showed 61% of disabled people aged between 15 and 64 were working in 2013, while 74% of those who weren't employed said they would like to work if a job was available. Statistics New Zealand said disabled adults face difficulties in looking for jobs or are limited in the amount or type of work they can do.
I think, like anybody, everybody wants to participate in society, according to the best of their ability. People with disabilities are no different to anybody else. They want to participate in the workforce according to their capacity. So there's a range of different challenges. For some people, it can be the period of time that they've been out of work for. For some people, it can be that maybe due to an injury, they're not able to return to the previous type of work they did. So we look at the skills that they have, and we look at how those skills could be transferred into other areas, and we look at how their previous experience could be used in current situations. A lot of the time it's simply that people want somebody to help guide them through the process, and this is where Workbridge can be really important, is because we can add motivation, we can add enthusiasm, and we're a whole range of different people who can help people look for work. In the case where somebody perhaps has an injury or a disability which may come into play in the workplace, Workbridge administers a fund for the Ministry of Social Development called Support Funds, and that is there to counter the cost of disability within the workplace. A classic example of that would be somebody who had an injury perhaps that needed a specific piece of equipment which would enable them to return to the workplace or enable them to do the job that they were being hired for. Southland employers are great in terms of wanting to see everybody get a fair go. The reality is not different for people with disabilities, injuries or illnesses at the moment than it is for everybody else. There's a lot of people looking for work. Employers have the pick of the crop. There is a lot of competition for different roles.
Youngsters around the region have been making good use of their holiday time thanks to the Southland District Council. It's the 10th year SDC's been running holiday programs for kids, and this holiday season programs took place in Tokanui, Wyndham, Otautau, Winton, Riverton, Waikaia, Lumsden, Garston, Te Anau and Stewart Island. Programs have been running for the past 3 weeks for limited numbers. Children have had the chance to enjoy games, arts and crafts and other fun activities. Parents were also invited to join in. Venture Southland facilitates the program, which is for children in rural Southland communities, so they can take part, have a go and get creative. And that's it from us tonight. Sports along next after the weather next. From the news team, good night.